Hey guys, my name's Ari. I decided to start this because I have a hard time talking about my feelings, and my friends suggested I should make a video vlog. So Kira, I know that you're watching this, and thank you. But I guess I just wanted to talk a little bit about rejection, I guess. I've recently been rejected by an ex I've been kind of on and off again with for like 2 years now, and that does not feel good at all. Um, it was a bad situation. It was really bad. I also thought maybe that if I made this, somebody who was also in a similar position might see it and realize that you can, in fact, get out of that situation. My ex was very toxic, and I guess I could say abusive. I didn't want to say that word for a really long time because it makes things feel so heavy, especially because I did keep going back to him kind of a lot, and it's hard to say like, oh yeah, I went back to my abusive ex. It's so much easier to say like, oh yeah, he was just really toxic, or we were really toxic together. And like, I can't lie and say that I wasn't bad too, because I definitely was, but I wasn't bad in the same ways that he was bad, if that makes sense. Like, my bad was yelling at him in the line of a club because he was texting other girls. I mean, we weren't together when he was doing that, but he did that a lot of times, kind of to make me jealous. I think like even when we weren't together, he would be like, oh, like this girl texted me, or oh, like whatever. And it's just like very intentional, because these people know like what they're doing when it comes to that. They know what makes you tick. So of course they're gonna do that. Like, I don't know. But if any other girls have been in this situation, and you want to talk about it, please talk about it if anybody does stumble upon this video. If not, then I'm just speaking to Kira, which is also fine with me. So I guess I should dive a little bit into our relationship. As I said, he was very toxic, very manipulative, and things kind of came to a halt literally like a few days ago when I decided to re-block him on everything, which I say I'm gonna do a lot. I always say, oh, I'm gonna block him on everything, like I'm gonna block him, and then I do, and then a few months later, you know, he comes back and everybody's like, dude, what happened? Like, I thought he was gone. Yeah, me too. Literally me too. Literally me too. I thought he was gone. But no, he always comes back. He always finds a way to inch his way back into my life. And I think that after our little confrontation we had yesterday, that enough is enough and I need to be done. I wish I could say like, oh, I'm so baddie, oh, I'm so baddie. No, I've been down bad, like in my room for like multiple days because of this incident. Like, I wish so bad I could be like, oh my god, I literally don't care about any opinion of any man. I don't care what men think of me, da da da. Like, I wish I could be that so bad. And like one day, like I think I will finally be able to like move on from this situation. But at the end of the day, I'm just a 20-year-old girl, and I don't know, I'm also very emotional, just as a person, but it's hard for me to get those emotions out, I think. So I think this will help. But on to rejection. So we had stopped talking for probably a few months, and then once school started, we kind of rekindled things again. So about like a month and a half ago probably now. And you know, over the summer he was texting me. I mean, like, give me one more chance, like, please give me one more chance, like, you know, I feel really bad for the way things ended, all this stuff. And of course, me, stupid. I mean, you're not stupid for believing that. If somebody is telling you, like, I don't know, I think I was in a very vulnerable position. And I think if somebody's telling you, like, oh my god, I miss you, oh my god, let's reconnect, oh my god, give me one more chance, like, I still love you, all this stuff, of course you're gonna believe it. And you shouldn't feel bad for believing somebody or for trusting somebody, because at the end of the day, like, that's just how connection is formed. Um, and I should have known not to trust him, but I did. A small part of me didn't only feel bad for our, you know, previous relationship and like that he felt bad for the way that he treated me, but I think part of me also wanted to be with this new version of him. And I really, really wanted him to be different because I really loved the good parts of our relationship. Obviously, that's kind of what manipulators do. They make you think, like, they make you very easily focus on all the good parts of the relationship. Because all the bad parts, I mean, what even are they? You know, they kind of gaslight you out of thinking that there even were bad parts in the first place. So I think it's really easy to forget all the bad times that happened, or when you were crying, listening to music on your phone, or crying to your best friend for hours about how he mistreated you or maybe cheated on you or abused you in any way. Like, I think it's really hard to forget that. But that, so we rekindled again at the beginning of the school year, and I trusted him. I took what he said, and I was okay with rekindling things. He said that he wanted to try going on dates and stuff, and I was fine with that. I was down to do that. He ended up rushing a frat this semester, so every time I would go out, I would see him. They would have like tables and stuff like that. So I would talk to him. We started off just as like hooking up. I think we hooked up twice in like the span of like 4 days. And then he texted me and was like, I just really want to be friends. Like, I just really care about our relationship and I want to stay friends with you. So, you know, I think we shouldn't try a relationship until, you know, I think I'm ready for that. And I understood that. This is not the really bad parts, by the way. I think he handled kind of this part super maturely, in my opinion. But yeah, so he said that he wanted to work on himself. He said he wanted to be friends with me, but he wanted to work on himself kind of while we were being friends, and then try a relationship again later. And I was okay with that. Like, I was totally fine with doing that. But then, you know, our friendship kind of got really toxic. Like, he was mad, I guess, about me talking to other guys, and I was mad about him talking to other girls. It was just a really weird situation because we were friends. But then I saw him at a club one time, and he said, I want to take you out on a date. I want to take you out on a date, whatever. So I texted him and I said, okay, like, let's go on a date. And I'm honestly so fucking sick of talking about this. Like, genuinely, I think that's why my friends told me to make the video diaries, because they're sick of fucking hearing my voice talk about this man for so long. But he genuinely had such a huge impact on me and the way I perceive men, I think, in general. He genuinely, like, really fucked me up. I don't think he ruined my life at all, because he would always say that. Like, oh, well, I guess, you know, I ruined your life, I ruined Ari, whatever. But I don't think that's what happened. I just think he really, like, messed me up in a way where it's hard for me to understand relationships. Um, but yeah, so he said he wanted to go on a date, so I gave him a date idea and he was down. So he was rushing at this time, so he didn't really have a lot of time um to do stuff. So I gave him time. We would hang out at night, we would talk, we would have a great time, we would make out, whatever. Um, and then the hurricane hit here, Tallahassee, um, and we were obviously stuck inside. And I told him, I was like, hey, like, I just miss when you were, you know, sweeter to me, when you were nicer to me, and I want to have that back. And he told me, I'm not your situationship, I'm not your hookup, I am your friend, and I have no desire in dating you. And this was when the rejection rolled in. And I realized that, well, I didn't realize it, he told me, but after 2 years of being off and on, he said that he no longer had feelings for me and that he wanted to stay friends. And this was obviously heartbreaking because somebody I had in my life for so long, viewing in a relationship way, I think he didn't want that for me anymore, um, which was really sad. Because, you know, obviously, if somebody's saying that they want you and want to work for you and better themselves for you after all the shit that we've been through together, not even together, all the shit that he did to me, and finally feeling like you have someone, because I never felt like I had him, but finally feeling like you have someone that you fought for so long is such a good feeling. And then for all of that to just like shatter when your feelings still remain is so hard to deal with. Like, it's so incredibly hard to sorry it's so incredibly hard to hear those words. And yeah, it just broke me, and I realized how kind of pathetic I was being, because I was just texting him being like, I still love you, I can't understand why you don't like me back. Like, this is so embarrassing, but I was literally like, I just don't understand why you don't love me. I don't understand how my feelings are still there for you after everything you've done for me, after like just all the ways that you've treated me. I cannot believe, I don't understand how your feelings went away and mine didn't. And I've been kind of grappling with that for the past, I guess, few weeks, trying to understand how, and that's been really hard because I only imagine me having him in my life, and I wasn't mad that he only wanted to be friends with me because I know I have a good personality and everything, but I was mad that he led me on. I think anybody would be. Like coming over to my place and cuddling and kissing, and stuff like that, and him being like, I only want to be friends. And we weren't even hooking up. So that was really confusing for me, I think. It was just really hard to grapple with, and I mean, I care less now, but it's not easy. I don't think anybody finds it easy to be rejected like that, especially with someone like that. I just hope and pray that somebody else has been through this. But yeah, that was really fucking hard to hear. And I wish I could find confidence now, because that kind of thing just makes you feel so ugly. And like, I was more open to him when we were friends than I've ever been. So it's like part of me feels like me being open and sharing my feelings And just being a real person has made me less attractive. And I don't know if that's it or if like I'm just not as attractive as maybe the girls he's dated before, or as like the Olivia Rodrigo song that's like, maybe I'm just not as interesting as the girls you've had before, but maybe I'm not. And that's fine. Like, I don't like hate other women for being better than me or anything like that, but it just makes you think a lot about yourself and self reflect on maybe I'm not interesting, and maybe I'm not funny, and maybe I'm not pretty, and maybe, everything that he's told me has been a lie, and maybe that's the same way for other guys as well. Because I've had bad experiences with guys before, but this is definitely the worst. But yeah, I don't know yet how to grapple with that. And the worst part is that I basically begged him. Every time things have ended, I basically begged him to love me. And that's so, like, it makes me feel so gross to think about, because it makes me feel so pathetic. Because, I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, how could you lower yourself that much to where you're literally begging somebody to love you back? And I don't even know, like, what do you do with that after it's done and it doesn't work and the other person resents you more, you know? Because the last time we hung out, he came over here after I went out to like a party or something. This was, I think, a few nights ago. He showed up and he just started talking about everything. And he pulled my sorority composite off the wall and looked at it and just like started calling them all ugly, like all the girls ugly, and was like, "Oh, you couldn't do better than this sorority. Like, you're just surrounded by a bunch of ugly girls." And like, that's the first thing he says to me. And like a few days ago, I was begging this man to love me back. And he's basically telling me I'm ugly and my friends are ugly. And like, it just makes you think how blinded you can be by being so infatuated with someone. But it also shows, like, damn, like, why are you coming into my room and the first thing you do is insult me? And then he continued to insult me more in other ways, probably because I've kind of been distancing myself from him. We haven't really talked much, so I think he kind of took that and ran with it and kind of just started, being mean to me for no reason. He also talked about his ex a lot, presumably to make me jealous, and just all this stuff. I couldn't deal with it, and I was sick of it. So I told him to leave, and he left. And then he ended up coming back, and I didn't let him in. He just walked in. He ended up coming back and came in and started apologizing and saying all this stuff after being so like disgustingly mean to me for no reason. And then he started saying like, like, I just want to say I'm sorry. Like, I don't want this to be like this and all this stuff. And I just couldn't let him back in. I told him to leave again, and that was the first time I really stood up to him. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still grappling with that rejection, because even though he's not my life and I reblocked him on everything, you still kind of want that person to want you back. I think a lot of people feel that way. That's why like revenge body and all this other stuff is so trendy, is because you want that person to want you back and realize that they made a mistake and make them feel bad for the way that they treated you by being hotter, being prettier, or, you know, being happier or whatever. But like, I don't, like, obviously I want that, but why? Literally, why would I want somebody who does not care if I live or die, or doesn't care about me as a person or my respect, or just anything? Like, he doesn't care about me. And, you know, I just hope maybe other people realize that too. Like, at the end of the day, like, you need to let go because this person does not fucking care about you. Like, somebody who will willingly abuse you, and I'll probably get into that in another video, but somebody who abuses you and, you know, they always apologize like after, so you kind of forget, like, they're always the one to heal you after they put you through trauma. So of course you feel like your friends, they isolate you from your friends, so your friends aren't the one to heal you, they're the one to heal you because they're the ones that are like, oh, it's okay, like, I'm so sorry, like, this should never happen, when it's them causing you the trauma. So of course you're gonna have some sort of attachment. It's like a cyclical wheel of trauma, and you want to win them because you can never have them. It's never, you can never have them. They are never yours. They are only themselves, and that's who they belong to. They will never belong to you, no matter how hard you try. And at some point, it's just time to give up. So I'm giving up, and I did give up. I'm dealing with the rejection a little bit better by talking about this, because I think that realizing that he wasn't a good person, and, you know, as much as I idolized him in my mind, he wasn't nice to me. And I think realizing that helps, or realizing that this person is like, you know, not somebody you should have in your life. Like, my friends hated him because he always treated me like poorly in front of them and stuff like that. So I think that's how I'm getting over it. But I think just realizing, as hard as it is to accept that the person who you thought they were isn't that person, you made it up in your head. And as hard as that is to hear, or as hard as that is to say, it's true. They're not fucking real. And, you know, you imagine something that isn't real. But you can probably find it. Maybe. I don't know if I'm gonna find that, but maybe you will. What a depressing note to end this video. But I think I am gonna call it. I'm probably gonna make another one right after this, talking about kind of my relationship and I hate to call it abuse because that just feels weird, but kind of just the weird stuff that happened. I'll probably talk about that. But yeah, that's my rejection video. Thanks, Kira. Thanks for listening. Love you.